Happy Wednesday, y'all. We are Papa Chefska-less. Oh, that's a tough sentence. We're without my dad once more. He was just texting me before the show, feeling so much better today. Thank you, everyone who has been sending well wishes to my dad. Ray, he is on the up and up, hopefully back tomorrow, but he's definitely sick. So thank you, everyone who has sent in the well wishes. However, we've got a great show in store for you today here on CarEdge Live. First and foremost, I need to bring in someone on the CarEdge team, Miss Trisha Moore. Just happens to be Trisha's birthday today, and Trisha's joining us for our interview with our friends from the Lexus dealership. Trisha, you want to take a second to introduce yourself to the CarEdge community, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Trisha.
Thank you. Hello, CarEdge community. We love you. My name is Trisha Moore. I work with our sales team here, our concierge service. We love you. We're here for you, and I'm super glad to be here.
Trisha, thank you. Trisha organized today's interview. So, Trisha, thank you so much. And again, happiest of birthdays to you. We're going to pull in Ruben and Armand here as well. We're going 4 wide, everyone. We've got a full screen today. Ruben, Armand, you guys mind taking a second to introduce yourselves? Ruben, maybe yourself first. Who are you with? Where are you from? Why are you guys looking so fancy in those suits? I'm wearing an athletic shirt. Trisha's in a nice sweater.
Listen, I'd rather be dressed like you. I'd rather be dressed like you, I promise. But my name is Ruben Santiago. I'm the general manager at Nalley Lexus Roswell, which is in Roswell, Georgia. And I'm joined by my colleague, Armand Nagbe, who's one of our sales associates here at the dealership.
Ruben, Armand, thank you guys so much for taking the time to join with us. Again, folks, for those of you that may not have heard that, these gentlemen are with Nalley Lexus Roswell. So if there's anything that they can do, please go check out their website. They didn't have to pay a dime to be on the show today. There's no affiliation like that. These folks help out lots of CarEdge customers all the time, and we're excited to get their take on what's going on in the Lexus market today. We're going to start here, gentlemen, which is the latest days supply data from Cox Automotive. Cox Automotive pretty much runs the auto industry. They provide all the data. And I'm going to zoom right in, gentlemen. It's a little blurry, but it says 39 Lexus. The nationwide average for days supply in the auto industry right now is 89 days, almost 3 months worth of inventory. You both represent the brand that has the lowest days supply of inventory at 39 days. What are y'all seeing in the market right now?
Armand, you want me to take that?
Yes, please. Okay. We spoke about it this morning. That was the first question I asked them this morning, actually.
Yeah. So, that's by design. And here at the dealership, as we sit here this morning, we're at an 11-day supply of inventory. And that really goes back to COVID when we were dealing with the chip shortage. The manufacturers obviously had built less cars, but through that, they learned a few things. They could build a few less cars and now not have to subsidize them as much, i.e. rebates, low interest financing, et cetera. So Lexus and Toyota, the parent company, made a decision that they would move away from the model that they normally had of a 78 to 80-day supply of vehicles and move it down now to a 35 to 40-day supply of vehicles. So they're becoming increasingly difficult to get because they come in, they're usually pre-sold before they get here. And certainly if they make it to the lot, as I said, by this morning, we will keep an average of that car on the lot for 11 days.
An 11-day supply. Holy cow. I mean, that is, you have any cars sitting on the lot with an 11-day supply? Like, Armand, you're working hand in hand with the customers. And then Trisha, I want your take on this because obviously you work with our customers, you work with our dealer partners. Armand, what does it look like to have an 11-day supply of inventory?
Well, there's over 20 salesmen here, so we're always fighting to sell cars, and a lot of these cars are pre-sold by the time they get here. So as of this morning, we spoke briefly, and we have about 30 new cars to sell. So yeah, it's always interesting. You just got to be creative and think outside of the box. Make sure you get to know your guests and get to know their wants and needs. Once you figure that out, you just place them on the right car, whether it's on the ground or it's incoming, and we go from there.
I mean, I can appreciate that you got to do some creative things to try and sell cars, but when you only have a couple dozen of them and 20 people fighting for the sale, it just doesn't seem like enough to go around. Trisha, you work with our CarEdge community day in and day out, both on the dealer side and obviously our customers who we serve. That being said, what are you seeing in the Lexus market, and how have these gentlemen, have they been able to help us out even locating vehicles? Like, what have you seen, Trisha?
They've been absolutely fantastic. And I can't emphasize enough the importance of our community coming to us for help in locating these vehicles. They have such an advantage if they have our web of contacts out there that we can work with on their behalf. And Armand has been absolutely fantastic. He's been able to access the GX 550 for us on numerous occasions without any upcharges, without any what I call garbage fees. And he's treated our community very fairly. And that is just a massive win for CarEdge community members. So I've been very active in helping our team source these vehicles. And part of my role has organically evolved into, helping our team find these cars with dealerships that treat our community the way they deserve to be treated.
Let's talk about the GX for a second here, Armand and Ruben. That is one of the hottest vehicles in the market. I've even seen, and keep me honest here, guys, but I've seen some California dealers actually shipping those vehicles, selling those vehicles to other dealers out of state to try and get their emission standards locally down to a certain level, and then having them sold as used vehicles at other dealerships above the original MSRP. Like, that's the level of gimmickry. Oh man, I'm struggling today. That's the level of chaos that I'm seeing in the GX market. What are y'all seeing locally when it comes to the GX? And is it like that for all Lexus makes and models, or are there particular models where maybe there is a little bit more supply? Ruben, Armand, whichever one of you has more of a pulse on the GX side of things, would love to hear your take on that.
Well, I'll let him tag in there first.
Okay. So yeah, the GX, you got to go back to the beginning. The GX had been set to sunset in 2020. And when that news broke, there's a lot of forums online that were really, lamenting you shouldn't get rid of this truck. You should just redesign it. So the U.S. Arm of Lexus had to go to Japan to convince and build a business case to convince them to just redesign this vehicle, and it would be a win. Took a little bit of arm bending, but the folks at Lexus Corporate acquiesced. They allowed this rebuild, and there started now this demand for this long-awaited truck. There are dealers in our market today that still charge over a sticker for it. We made a decision at the beginning not to do that because people's memories are very long when they feel they've been. Now, there's a need. I have to have it, but you're taking advantage of me. Yep. I won't forget that. And so we made a decision not to do that. We sell them at MSRP, but we're not going to play or add junk fees, like Tricia stated earlier, onto the price of ours. And it's bode well for us. We've got a lot of clients that come in from out of state because their state's charging over sticker. We're selling the used one, to your point earlier, Zach, for over sticker, and they'll come to us and place an order with us and be willing to wait for it to come in, so at least they don't feel they were taken advantage of.
Wow. Now, Armand, are there other vehicles in the Lexus lineup right now that are as hot as that? And are there any soft spots in your inventory, vehicles sitting around? Because, I think about Toyota, for example. There are some Tacomas, Tundras sitting around. I mean, heck, you want a BZ4X, you can go ahead and get a hell of a deal on that. You're out in California, that hydrogen-powered one, I think you can get 20 grand off. So there's some soft spots on the Toyota inventory side of things. Is there any other soft spots on the Lexus side?
As far as a soft spot, a vehicle I've seen that has sat for a while, maybe the RZ, but we've been getting fewer RZ allocations lately, and they actually sold pretty quickly this month. So I really don't see a lot of soft spots in our inventory as of yet.
We've got a great comment here from our community, and if you have questions for Armand and for Ruben, please let us know in the chat. This question here from Fly Chomper Fly. How much choice do you get for the models that you receive from the manufacturer? You just mentioned, Armand, the inventory, the allocation you received. Do you get a lot of input there as a dealer, or is it kind of, all right, whatever they bring over is what they bring over?
We get input, but it's based on sales history. And so based on your sales history, you're going to get a certain model. What Lexus has done away with during COVID was where you could order a specific vehicle for a client. Their model now is, we build this, we send it to you, you have to figure out a way to sell it.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. And then we've got a question here from Jose. Maybe there's some really good input that you can provide to this. Why does Lexus and Toyota not allow customers to order a new Lexus without add-ons? Here at the Long Beach port, they always add unwanted options. Now, I know this is really common with port installed options on Toyotas. Does the same thing happen on the Lexus side of the house, Ruben and Armand? Are there port installed options on Lexus vehicles? And you can't order a Toyota. There's the allocation bank that you can get on a wait list. Is it similar or different on the Lexus side of things?
Armand, we're going to take that one?
Yes.
Okay, so the port installed options the dealer has, he most definitely has a choice on whether or not they want those options added. Some dealers do because the profit margin in those options is small, but when you multiply that over 3,000 or 4,000 vehicles a year, it adds up to a fairly decent amount. But the port install option is not mandated by the manufacturer. The dealer can certainly take those off. And we made a decision to kind of have a balanced mix, a third with all the options, a third with no options, and a third with some of the options.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense then for why you've got customers coming to y'all instead of maybe their local dealer who's 100% on all the options because of such a limited days supply of inventory. Trisha, I want to give you a space here to ask a question. Before I do, I've got one other one for Ruben and Armand, which is around the financing side of things. My dad and I just earlier this week were looking at the average new car interest rate is almost 10%. Cox Automotive shared that data with us, 9.69%. On the used side of things, it's almost 15%. It's the highest it's been in 40 years. Are y'all seeing any impacts of high interest rates on your clientele, or because these are Lexus customers, affluent customers, is it really not impacting things that much? Are you seeing folks maybe decide not to purchase because interest rates are so high, or are they choosing to pay cash instead?
Armand, that's all you. You're on those front lines.
Oh, yeah. So it really just depends on the guest. Every guest is different, right? And Lexus does a really great job with their promotions. They do have a 2.49 going on for 48 months on select models. So people take advantage of that. People are very, very critical of their interest rate here in Roswell, as Ruben, I'm pretty sure Ruben does know that as well. It really just depends on your guest at the time, but we really don't see a lot of chaos when it comes to interest rates. If they want the car, they typically take delivery of it. We always find a solution.
More cash deals recently, or has it been kind of a similar mix between cash, finance, lease?
More than ever.
Yeah.
More than ever.
Yeah.
More than ever.
Definitely.
What do you think's driving that? Is it the interest rate you think, or is it the fact that your buyers, your clientele simply have the money sitting around? Because I think the market for a Lexus is very different than the market for, say, a Nissan or a Mitsubishi, where that customer, all the data we have is, they're scraping to get by to be able to put the down payment, for that vehicle.
It's segmented by population in where we're at. So in the Roswell area where we're at, there tends to be a bit more affluency than. We've got a competitor of ours in South Atlanta, Lexus, and I'm good friends with that general manager. And, they run an 85% finance rate where we run a 50% finance rate. So I think a lot has to do just with the maturity of the clientele and the position where they stand economically speaking.
We've got these gentlemen for about 10 more minutes. Trisha, it's your birthday. Let's get a birthday question out there for Ruben and Armand. Go for it.
Well, I have two questions, and I know you only said one, but it's my birthday, so I get whatever I want, right? Isn't that how it works? So my first question is, I'm curious, are your clients coming into the dealership concerned of tariffs, right? The uncertainty in the marketplace. I know that on our end, we definitely get a lot of questions around that. And I think a little bit of it is curiosity. A little bit of it is fear. I'm curious as to what you guys are seeing. And then my second question is, how do leases play into your marketplace for Lexus versus like a BMW, right? Zach, what is it? Like something like 60 to 80% of BMWs are typically leased. And obviously it varies market to market, but that particular brand is known to be lease heavy. Where does Lexus fit in on that?
Armand, want to handle it or want me to?
You can step in and I'll handle
it. Well, I have two questions, so we can go one and then the other.
You guys would make good dance partners.
Well, I will say, but
very respectful. You're back in
of course.
Just saying.
Of course. He's the godfather, But as far as tariffs, people are very concerned of tariffs. That is a real concern for our guests. So I know a lot of dealerships have been saying buy now, things of that nature. And at the beginning of this month was very quiet, well, at least for me, because after the news of the tariff broke and, things going on with China, that kind of scared a lot of people away. But for the most part, we're not seeing a whole lot of that. Our dealership is still running pretty fine, like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, that shock and awe has kind of subsided a little bit.
Yes.
We're on, we're off, we're on, we're off.
Yeah.
But Trisha, to your point, or to your question on BMW, if a guest is deciding to make a purchase between Lexus and BMW strictly on payment, we will lose that battle every single time.
Interesting.
Because BMW's business model is based on leasing, and that's a mention of those rates and programs. Lexus isn't in that space. You know, we run about a 51% finance control this month, and we're of that, about 40% of leases. It's starting to come back because back during COVID, when they got rid of a lot of those incentives and subvention of rates, leasing came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
So it's slowly coming back, but we won't realize the benefit of the lease today for another 36 months when that car comes off lease, which then feeds the used car market.
Well, and into your point on that, my sense from what I see come in is that Lexus orders they're loyal to the brand. They often already have a Lexus that they've had for a very long time. They have an ownership mentality and they have brand loyalty that's just through the roof. And so there isn't a disposability factor. There's more of a stability factor, actually, from what I've seen. I don't think I've seen a higher end Lexus lease request come through. It's been either cash or finance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because for us, that audience for the lease, the lesser of the vehicle, is a younger audience coming in. Because remember, the average transaction price for us is $59,750. Wow. So when you're looking at a $60,000 car with a 72-month finance versus a 36-month lease, this tends to be the better proposition for them.
So
but the more mature audience just writes that check. At least in this market, they write the check.
Very interesting.
Again, I want to thank these gentlemen. We've got them for a few more minutes here, folks, from Nalley Lexus of Roswell. If they can help you out, again, there's no quid pro quo here. There's nothing. These guys help CarEdge community members out every single day. They make our life back at CarEdge.com easier to serve our community. It's great dealers like these gentlemen that make what we do at CarEdge possible. So please, if you do check them out, just Google search Nalley Lexus Roswell, and you will find them. Let them know that you came from CarEdge if you do end up contacting them, and let us know about your experience. Now, gentlemen, I have another question for you actually about the used car side of things. You just brought it up, Ruben. Leasing had been down significantly. There was a new car shortage for at least a year or two there because of the pandemic. Are you guys seeing anything on the used car side that's worth mentioning? And in part, I'm wondering, your trade-ins that come in, are you seeing folks upside down, negative equity, things like that nowadays?
It's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great question. We are, if they're trading in a car that's a 22 or newer, because undoubtedly they paid a premium when they bought that vehicle. So we're experiencing a little bit of that heartache. The flip side to that, though, is the car is still worth more today than it would have been in these same set of circumstances pre-COVID. So the used car market continues to heat up, and if this tariff threat goes through, used car values will absolutely become invaluable because the new car market will come to a screeching halt if you've got cars that are coming out of those affected countries.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, without naming names, and if you can't go there, that's totally fine. What's something shocking you've seen on the negative equity side? The Edmunds data that gets put out every single quarter, something that shocked me, and that was 1 out of 5. So 20% of folks that have a negative equity position right now, it's more than $10,000 that they're upside down on that auto loan. Ruben, Armand, again, don't name names, don't even tell me the car, but what have you seen? What's a number that you've seen for a negative equity position recently?
Well, recently, Ruben helped me with the deal. I had a guest come in. She was trading in a 2019 Lexus, I believe, and had over $13,000 negative equity. But we were still able to put that deal together for her and help her get into something new.
But Zach, the highest for the month right now is 37,000 of negative equity that we had last week.
Was it an EV?
It's 37,000.
Was it an EV?
It was not. It was a product from the Stellantis group. So I'll kind of let you figure it from there.
Shocker. I wonder what
there's nothing wrong with them, but that's what the brand who it was.
37,000. I mean, it's not something to laugh at and make light of, because that's $37,000 worth of problems you got to solve when you're trying to get into a new vehicle. But holy cow, could you imagine you have a loan for $100,000 and the car is only worth, what would that be, $63,000? I mean, that's a bad, challenging situation to be in. And I'm sure it made it difficult to get an approval on a new financing for it.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to fix that is cash down. You can have a 900 credit score. That's not going to carry back that loan amount on something new.
Well, we really, really, really appreciate you both taking the time. Y'all run this dealership, although Armand, you got 19 other salesmen. So I don't know. Maybe they stole a deal while you're on the show here. So CarEdge
Oh,
community, if you're
I'm
in the
not worried
market for
about
a
them.
Lexus, Armand had 20 minutes away from his other 19 salesmen. Go ask for Armand when you contact these guys. And Ruben, obviously managing the dealership. We appreciate, we know how busy you are. So thank you for taking the time to join us. And again, these gentlemen are from Nalley Lexus of Roswell. If they can help you out with anything, please get in touch with them. Let them know CarEdge sent you their way. Any parting shots before we let you guys go back on with your day? Any final thoughts you want to share with the community here?
No, listen, we appreciate the opportunity to join you all today. And we certainly appreciate the opportunity to serve our guests that live in this community, because we're neighbors and residents of this county as well. So, our goal is to make a friend with everyone that comes into the dealership.
We appreciate that. Well, thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Armand. Go enjoy your fantastic Wednesday, March 19th. Trisha, stay put. We're keeping you on here. It's your birthday. We'll keep you.
All right.
See you, gentlemen. Thanks so much.
You, guys.
Really appreciate it. Trisha, I got to debrief. I always debrief with my dad after we have.
I know. And, I love listening to your dad. I feel sometimes like he's my dad, right? Zach, you listen to the dynamics of the market described by the professionals in the business. We see our clients' questions and concerns, and there's never been a better time to have professional support through your car buying purchase. It isn't even just about the OTD anymore. It's such a broader picture, a holistic evaluation for the consumer as to whether or not they proceed on a vehicle, because there are so many market dynamics that affect the purchase. We're just in such interesting times, very uncertain times.
I really appreciate. So Trisha does a variety of different things here at CarEdge, y'all, and she organized this interview. And I really appreciate that you got a Lexus dealer on with us and a great partner in Nalley joining us here, because that is literally, we had the chart up before. I'll pull it back up one more time.
I can't believe that inventory, Zach.
Yeah, they have an 11 days supply of inventory. The national average for Lexus right now is 39. We get on with these guys in Georgia. They have an 11-day supply.
Yeah. And we have clients that come in. They want an NX, they want a GX, they want that product, but they do not want to be treated unfairly. And so that is really the challenge. And I think we navigate that very well. I really do. I have a lot of confidence in what we have done for our community, but it's pretty unbelievable. And like Ruben said, it's self-created.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I thought that was really fascinating. This was a strategic business decision. And I wonder, as these tariffs take effect on April 2nd, I saw some headlines in automotive news this morning, Trisha, about, it's so fun saying this morning, Trisha, instead of this morning, Pops. This morning, Trisha, I was reading in automotive news, the Japanese automakers are coming up with emergency game plans. And part of that is to try and get more inventory in the United States sooner. Obviously, we know Toyota, which is the parent company of Lexus, they had their RAV4 production shut down for a period of time domestically, which was 20% of the inventory that made it to the United States. So all sorts of challenges right now for Japanese automakers, not to mention the fact that Nissan, totally different conversation, but Nissan and Infiniti running out of money, the failed merger with Honda, all sorts of interesting things there. Want to pull this comment up from Ashley saying, could I pick one up from California? Absolutely. We do all sorts of out-of-state deals here at CarEdge, and obviously this dealership. They don't take advantage of folks. They want to be remembered as those that did it right during a time where they had an 11 days supply of inventory. So absolutely.
Yes.
Ashley. And from Rich, we had a very kind contribution. Thank you, Rich. Where's my flying Lexus car?
That's so funny.
Maybe it's a birthday wish. Could that be your birthday wish, as a flying Lexus car for Rich? That could do it.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be coming at some point soon, right? I don't know.
Maybe. I sort of doubt it. I hope they stay focused on more affordable Lexus vehicles and continue to be reliable Lexus vehicles. But maybe there's a chance. Okay. We're going to call it a show for today, Trisha. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for making this happen. Folks, if we can help you out with anything, I got to do my job really quickly and be pitchman. Go to caredge.com, click on skip the dealership right there. We've got 2 services that Trisha and her team work on day in and day out. We have the negotiation expert. If you know the vehicle you want and you want to put us to work to do the hard part, contacting the dealer and getting you the best price, click on negotiate my car, or our car buying service. You've got an idea of what you want and you want us to go find it and then do all the legwork. You can get the concierge car buying service. Trisha, thank you so much for all that you do to support our team, the CarEdge team, and our community, and for making today's show happen. Really, really appreciate it. And the happiest of birthdays to you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern, supposedly with my dad. Enjoy your Wednesday, Trisha. Enjoy your Wednesday, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.